The time of choosing had come. The village gathered beneath the fading light, their faces solemn and expectant. Smoke curled from low fires as the last color drained from the sky. At the center of the gathering stood the elders, silent and still, their robes worn with time, their eyes fixed not on the crowd but on the three objects they held. These were the tools that shaped their world. They were not mere instruments, but symbols of calling, each bound to the rhythm of the village's survival. Every child who reached the age of choosing was brought forward. With the choice came a gift. With the gift came a path. And with that path came a burden that would not lift for the rest of their lives. The first child was given a war blade. It gleamed in his hand, sharp and cold, humming with stored power. He bowed his head, not in fear, but in understanding. His was the duty to stand between the village and the unknown. His hands would rise in defense. His life would be spent watching the horizon, standing guard when others slept, striking when no one else could. The second child received a shaper. It was the tool of builders. The ones who carved homes from stone, bridged rivers with timber, and raised walls from bare earth. Through them, the village stood firm against wind and time. Their hands did not bleed in battle, but their work held back ruin all the same. The third child was handed an etcher. It was small, light, and silent. The etcher recorded time, thought, process, and purpose. It captured the wisdom of elders and new discoveries that would otherwise fade. The first two clutched their tools with quiet reverence, already sensing the shape of the years ahead. The third held his etcher loosely. He looked from one to the other, watching as the war blade sliced arcs through the air, hearing the clean scrape of the shaper drawn across fresh timber. His own tool made no sound. It left no immediate mark. The others would be known by what they built or broke, but what would he leave behind? That night, while the village slept, the third child dug a shallow hole beneath his sleeping mat. He wrapped the etcher in cloth and buried it beneath the loose earth. It was not lost. It was only hidden. He told himself it was the wise thing to do. He was not ready. He did not know how to use it. He would learn in time. When he understood more, he would bring it out. Just not yet. Days passed. Then seasons. The boy with the war blade grew into a man known far beyond the borders of the village. When danger came from the forest or approach from the sea, his was the first face the people turned to. He did not hesitate. He did not retreat. The one with the shaper became a master builder. He raised halls that held generations, carved bridges that bent but did not break, and taught others to work with patience and precision. His work stretched farther than his reach, and his name was spoken with quiet pride. The third said little. He helped when asked. He worked with his hands, but without direction. When asked about his tool, he would nod and say it was safe. He still had it. He was waiting for the right moment. But the moment never came. Then one year, the skies darkened without warning. A storm rose unlike any the village had seen. Wind howled across the valley, tearing branches from trees. Rain fell in blinding sheets, cold and endless. The river swelled, rising with unnatural speed. But it was not the storm alone that threatened them. The village archive, carved into the base of the old stone hall, flooded before anyone could reach it. The waters rushed through the lower chambers, soaking parchment, warping tablets, turning decades of recorded knowledge into pulp and silence. Genealogies, healing instructions, planting cycles, structural diagrams, sacred maps, centuries of memory dissolved in the dark. The builders worked through the night, their hands steady but unsure. They had forgotten the old reinforcement patterns. The warriors stood at their posts but could not recall the border codes meant to protect sacred ground. The healers reached for remedies, only to realize they no longer remember which mixtures required boiling or which ones could kill. And the third child, now a grown man, ran to his shelter with the flood already seeping beneath the walls. He tore back his sleeping mat and clawed at the ground. The soft earth had collapsed inward. The tool was gone. The cloth had disintegrated. The etcher had been washed away, unused and unlearned. He had been the one chosen to preserve it all. He had been entrusted with the words, the diagrams, the instructions passed down over generations. Not to invent, not to lead, not to build, but to remember. And because he buried his calling, everything they depended on was buried with it. The storm passed, the sky cleared, the village endured, but it was not whole. The warriors still stood beside their posts, blades dulled but steady. The builders leaned against their patched walls, their eyes tired but alive. And he stood alone, empty-handed, surrounded by questions no one could answer. The elders said nothing. There was no need. A gift unused is a gift wasted. And those who waste what is given have nothing left when it is needed most.